Well, the Pentagon spends more on war than the yearly tax income of all 50 U.S. states, according to one new study. Let's get more with RT's Christine Frazao, who's in our Washington studio. Hi, Christine. Is America becoming a war state?
Well, according to some, it is. Now, let's put this into a little bit of context here, Kelly. Across the board over the last 3 years, with the state of the economy here in the United States, we have seen cuts in just about everything. Education, healthcare, certainly at city, county, and state levels. Cuts, cuts, cuts. But there is one place where we have not cut, and that is the money that this country spends to defend itself. Now, we have a guest today, reporter Sherwood Ross. He joins us from Miami, and he refers to this country as the warfare state. Mr. Ross, talk to me a little bit about what you mean when you say that.
Well, I mean that the United States today, through the Pentagon, is spending more for war than all the 50 state governments of the United States spend for the health, education, and welfare of the American people. That military budget has grown colossally to about $800 billion. It's gone up 4% under President Obama. American people who voted for peace are finding that we have a greater war economy than ever before.
Well, let's talk about this, though. I mean, in addition to an economy that has not been kind to many of us, we also have a greater terror threat. I mean, starting in 2001, but all the way to even Christmas Day here when we see somebody attempting to bomb an airplane. Talk to me about, how to balance this, because don't you think it's important that we do spend money to defend this country, especially with all the threats coming in?
Well, I do think it's important to defend the country. Defense, of course, is very important. However, the government is spending hundreds of billions of dollars in Afghanistan to go after what, 100 or 200 Taliban fighters? It doesn't make any sense. The idea of the Pentagon and the military-industrial complex is not necessarily to win a war, but to wage continuous wars to keep these inflated Pentagon budgets sky high, and that's what they are succeeding in doing.
Well, one of the tricky parts of this, of course, is that we as normal citizens don't have all the information that, people at higher levels have. Military officials, the president, they know a lot more than we do about what they should be spending money on. Talk to me about that.
Well, and they lie a lot more, too. Even under Ronald Reagan, his budget advisor told him that the Pentagon was wasting $30 billion. But the American people are not privy to a lot of what the Pentagon is spending and almost nothing that the CIA and the other intelligence agencies are spending on war. There's another $40 or $50 billion right there on top of the Pentagon's $700 or $800 or $880 billion estimates for the coming year. The American people need to know the facts.
Talk to me, Mr. Ross, about how you think this should play out. You've said that you think it's important that this country does spend money on defense, but you also contrast it with the amount of money, the low amount of money, I guess, that's being spent on other things, education, the peace process. What do you think should be sort of the hierarchy in the way that this country divvies up the money?
Well, I think that the United States should be spending more on the Peace Corps. What we spend on the Peace Corps wouldn't keep the Pentagon elephant in peanuts. It's $375 million a year, as against $800, $900 billion for the Pentagon. I'd like to see those budgets reversed.
Well, thank you so much. We are out of time, Mr. Ross, but thank you so much for joining us. That's Sherwood Ross, reporter from Miami, who is talking about how much this country spends to defend the country in contrast with how much it spends on other things. I'm Christine Frazao, and I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Christine, reporting from our Washington studio.